Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending this session. My name's Russell Yates. I'm one of the principal sales specialists for Amazon Connect, based in the UK. And it's my pleasure today to talk about how we can transform customer contact centers in financial services with Amazon Connect. Today's going to be split into three sections. I'm going to give a bit of an introduction about the financial services industry, and then I'm going to be joined on stage by Maggie Bedu, who is the VP of Operations for Zepz. And Maggie's going to explain the journey that Zepz have been on for the last few years. But let's start with a thought. You can't do today's job with yesterday's methods and be in business tomorrow. And I think we could probably all think about organizations that we do business with in our personal life, or even in the contact center industry, who just maintained the status quo. They stayed doing what they've always done. And then competitors changed the way they did things, and they were either overtaken, or maybe some of these businesses went out of business. So it's really important, very Amazonian, that we always try and think about tomorrow, innovate, and we're going to be talking about that today. So let's talk about the competitive battleground. So what's changing? Historically, organizations would compete on all the basic things: price, service, in the financial sector, things like the rates. But these are just commodity items now. Everybody can pretty much do the same rates. Everybody can deliver the next day. Everybody can do that. So the new reality is that customer experience is the only sustainable advantage that you can have against your competitors. And when you think of the businesses that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, I think of the businesses that I deal with. Of course, I'm going to say this: Amazon, amazing customer experience, deal with everything, know who I am, and shape the journeys based on that. And really, that puts us in a position where the customer experience provides the competitive advantage that we have in a very congested market. The other thing to think of is, so while your competitors are worrying about the price or the rates, people are expecting digital-first experiences. Historically, you had tech-savvy millennials who wanted everything like that. But we've seen the reports now, across all demographics, ages, everybody is looking for simple and easy-to-use digital experiences. And that's really where the new battleground is. But let's look at the fintech paradox. So this is I'm talking about this for financial services businesses, but I know some of my other customers and people from different industries are in this room. But I think all of these are relevant as well for any business in a market. So scale versus quality. So the more customers we have, the more complexity we have to deal with. For cost versus experience, all of the management teams are telling us to reduce cost, but we've got to give a better CSAT. We've got to get a better experience. The innovation and the stability. So let's deliver new things, but don't break anything that's already working, because we don't want to upset our customers. And then the global to personal. We want to speak to people all over the world. We want to do everything, but we've got to maintain that human touch. So it's really difficult. We've got all these things pulling against us, which makes it really difficult. And what makes that even more difficult is if you've got old legacy technology. So let's look at the AI revolution. But what we have today is generally traditional systems. We have got customers, and hopefully we've got some Amazon Connect customers in this room, but I know we will have people who are using legacy on-premise systems, where in the IVR we use rules-based routing or routing for our US colleagues. We've got long wait times. So when you go into the system, there's no personalization, there's no prioritization. So customers sit in long queues waiting for agents. And when the call gets to the agents, these agents are probably burnt out because they're using multiple systems. They're trying to find information. It's really difficult for them to do that. So let's look at the AI-powered world now. So what is in the AI-powered world? Intelligent deflection. Maybe that ability to deflect the conversations before they even reach a human agent. Predictive routing or routing again. The ability to make decisions based on who I am and create true personal journeys. Think of that Amazon experience. They know why I'm contacting them, they know why I'm doing this, and then routing it to the most appropriate agent. And then real-time insights. We can't improve if each and every interaction that we deal with doesn't allow us to improve on the last one. So these are the things that are in the AI world. But here are the things that are a bit challenging. This is the promise. Everybody's been promised. We've heard about AI for years. 30 to 50% saving, and I'm going to increase my customer satisfaction. But we all know that's not the reality. We know that people have come and made these promises, consultants, vendors, industry experts. We're just hearing about it, but it's very difficult to actually deliver. And why is that difficult to deliver? The reason why it's difficult to deliver is most people are still delivering AI projects as like technology projects. They're not thinking about the end-to-end customer journey. And that's really what you have to do to make sure you're delivering an exceptional experience, because just dropping in a chatbot, adding a bit of automation, doesn't mean that the journey is going to be good end-to-end. And that's why it makes it really difficult. We want our customers to have a simple journey, not feel like they're going through a maze to get to the right person. This is a sobering statistic as well. It's all a bit doom and gloom at the moment, but it's going to get better, don't worry. 70% of digital transformation doesn't meet its goals. And these are the common features that we see. Over-engineering, as I said, just dropping in all these different things, different languages, different everything makes it really difficult to have a seamless journey. The next one being the vendor lock-in. We may have agreed that we're dealing with a particular bot provider or a chat provider, but without bringing that into a single journey, it's really difficult. Then you've got the change management resistance. Most businesses have been operating in the same way they've always operated for years. And this is probably the most important thing that I would ask everybody to think about. You have to get top-down buy-in for any significant change like this for customer transformation. Because if you don't, there'll be people saying, we can't do this, or we've always done it like this. And these are the things that make that transformation. Even though everybody's got their best interest at heart, it can be difficult to overcome these changes. But let's look at the success factors. A clear vision. So this is true Amazonian, working backwards from our customers, identifying what is going to change our overall customer experience, and having a clear vision and delivering against it. Then having the right partnerships. So, of course, we're going to say AWS and Amazon Connect, but this is really important, the ability to deliver on this vision and having that across everything. And then the final one is a phased approach. It's really difficult in a business, as I said, operating in multiple countries, to deliver absolutely everything all in one go. So we talk about thinking big, so we have that vision. We start small, maybe in a particular country or a particular channel, and then we move fast and we accelerate. And this is the way that we see the most successful projects run within our business. But what does success actually look like? Now I'm going to be handing over to Maggie, who's going to talk about the journey that Zepz have been on using Amazon Connect, and then we'll go back through some of the new releases after that. So Maggie?
Thank you, Russell. All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Maggie Beto, and I run operations at Zepz. That includes a lot of things, but fin crime operations, payment operations, customer care operations, of course, and finance operations, to name a few. And what is Zepz? So Zepz is a fintech made up of two mobile money brands, SendWave and WorldRemit. And both of our brands have a mission of empowering cross-border communities through finance and technology. So our apps primarily provide peer-to-peer mobile money transfers at low cost that are delivered quickly and are easy to do. So I was actually the first employee at SendWave over 11 years ago. And in those early days, if you guys can believe it, I took all of our customer care calls on my personal cell phone. which got a little distracting if I was at a grocery store or in a restaurant. But those were some of the best times I've had at this company because I was able to connect with our customers and learn firsthand about the problems that they were encountering with our apps. So in those days, we were making product iterations pretty much daily, right, based on these contacts from our customers. And at that time, we really had to treat every customer like they were our only customer. And that's how we were able to get off the ground in the East African communities that we first launched in. But then luckily, that launch was successful, and we began to see exponential growth. That made it really challenging to treat every customer as though they were our only customer, as you can imagine. And so the remittance space at that time was becoming increasingly competitive. With the COVID time, we had more digital players coming into the market. There's a race to the bottom with prices. And so we were really needing to figure out how are we going to differentiate ourselves competitively, right? And it became clear to us that customer care was going to be a strong competitive differentiator for us in the remittances space. In 2021, Sendwave was acquired by a UK competitor of ours named WorldRemit, and then Zepz was born. But as you guys can probably guess, with this merger, a lot of complexity came. And it became even harder to deliver exceptional service for all of our customers across both of our brands. So today, I want to talk to you all about how we face those challenges head on in partnership with AWS. But first, I want to just give you a little bit of a flavor of why our business matters with a quick intro video.
Fair, fast, flexible payments. It's what we do and who we are. Zepz. Powering two global digital payments brands, WorldRemit and Sendwave. For over a decade, we've been helping customers save time and money when sending payments across borders. And in 2020, WorldRemit and Sendwave jointly enabled 50 million customer transactions, sending $10 billion in payments. Now, in 2021, we've become Zepz, supporting fair, fast, flexible digital payments. Zepz brands, WorldRemit and Sendwave, offer market-leading speed and accessibility, and it's our goal to provide a world-class customer experience, building innovative solutions that offer choices to solve customer problems. By 2026, global remittances could hit $930 billion as they play an increasingly important role in the global economy. Zepz is here to help make those payments fair, fast, and flexible.
Awesome. So our industry has seen a lot of change since Sendwave and WorldRemit launched well over a decade ago. Many of our original Sendwave users were literally getting in their cars and driving to physical pay-in locations where they were going to send money home to their family members, and often they would have to pay large fees even if they were sending very small amounts home, and they wouldn't get a lot of transparency into those fees. Additionally, most of these transfers could take several days to be delivered. So before we merged and became Zepz, both Sendwave and WorldRemit were disrupting the status quo and pioneering a digital-first approach. Now those same customers that were driving to the physical locations can roll over in their bed in the middle of the night if there's an emergency and send home money from their app quickly, virtually instantly, and then roll over and go back to bed. So it's come a long way since those early days. Today's Zepz is a leader in the market. We serve over 10 million users across 130 countries. We have built a robust payments network with over 90 payment partners, and most of our transactions settle within a couple of minutes, about 95%. So we're well positioned to capitalize on the shift to digital as the market for international remittances is projected to be a whopping $2 trillion by 2030. So this slide goes into a little bit more detail on the journey we've been on to lower not only the transaction fees for money transfers, but also to bring more transparency to these fees so our customers know exactly what they're going to have to pay to send money home. We've extended that concept of transparency to the status of our customers' transactions. Most of them get there very quickly, but if they do not, we have in-app trackers that show our users exactly where their money is at any given moment in time. And finally, we've tried to make using our apps simple and straightforward. We believe that sending money should be as easy as sending a text message from your phone. And all of this is because we know that the about $16 billion we send in transactions every year is mostly meant for essential needs in our recipient countries. You guys can see some of those needs listed here, like medical bills, school fees, rent, groceries, utilities, child support. Over 74% of our customers are sending money home for essential needs. And that makes it very important that we live up to our promises to them of getting their money where it needs to be, when it needs to be there. And if it doesn't get there in time, this is what our customer care agents hear about constantly, right? They are going to hear that the money needs to be there urgently. It didn't make it. What happened? Somebody's waiting outside of a hospital to be admitted, right? So it's a real challenge for us to make sure that we're able to give good answers to those types of questions. This is a sort of an overview of many of the operational challenges that we face. We operate in a complex landscape with challenges, even the emotional context that I just described of somebody waiting to get admitted to a hospital being very complicated for us. And we need to be able to build trust with our customer base that we are going to be able to live up to our promises to them. So we also operate in a highly regulated environment. In the US alone, we are required to have a money transmitter license in literally every single state. And all of the states have different rules, different policies, different procedures that we need to keep up with. It's a big job just to maintain those licenses alone, in addition to all of the other licenses we have in send countries across the globe. We also have multi-language needs from our customers. They expect to be able to speak to us in different languages. With a complex payment network that I already spoke about, we work not only with end payout partners like banks and mobile money networks, but also with many intermediary companies that send to those payout methods. So my teams need to be coordinating across all of those partners constantly to make sure there's no disruption to services if we're having an internal issue or if one of our partners is having an issue or migration. And all of this is really in the context of a very volatile FX markets in some cases, as well as volatile global political environments. So the broader remittance market has provided challenges. They're all listed here. The digital acceleration that I spoke of, that really onset mostly around the COVID times. Increased regulatory scrutiny and pressure, we're seeing it across all of our regulators in different countries. They are bringing more scrutiny to the mobile money space. The cost pressure, right, because we are decreasing prices, and that's a really, really good thing. It's our mission to decrease the cost of sending money abroad. But as we do that, we need to think of other ways to make money, right, because it's a race to the bottom with pricing. And then there's the AI revolution, which is wonderful and holds so much opportunity for us to reinvent how we think about operating our business. So all of these challenges paired with the complications of integrating the operations of two different brands created the perfect storm for us to weather. A few years ago, we had two entirely different customer care teams located in completely different places, working with different CRM systems, and following very different policies, procedures, cultural norms. It was a big challenge to start to think about how we bring those two different teams and all of their tooling together. So enter AWS. All of those challenges were creating fertile ground for us to bring in a new partner to really bring both of our brands' customer care to a better place. But it was a lot of work. So we started with AWS in 2023. And at that time, we migrated all of our customer contacts off of Zendesk and Salesforce onto the AWS platform. And then we were able to kick it off in 2024 to start building novel solutions for some of Zepz needs. That began with our email solution, and then we brought AI into the mix to help answer user inquiries. And then we brought in what we call we did multi-language chat, and then what we call intelligent front door, which is a mouthful, but that essentially allowed us to deflect customer queries before they even got to an agent. And we launched that for both voice and chat, and that was able to save us a lot of time. And you'll see in some upcoming slides kind of how that affected our contact rates as well. Finally, we launched AI observability, which basically allowed us to see what users were asking and how the model was responding. So in 2025, we continued to problem solve with AWS to improve the quality and efficiency of our call center operations. One thing that was really cool is that we enhanced our multi-language support. So most of our customer care agents are based in the Philippines, and they speak English. And what we were able to do with AWS was to allow this team to service our customers speaking other languages via chat by basically accepting communications in other languages. AWS translated them to English so our agents could read what the users were talking about, and then they were able to respond in English, and that would be translated back into the customer's native language. That was really a step forward for us because then we did not need to hire expensive, hard-to-find language agents as much as we previously did in the Philippines. So that one was really cool. We also launched a few other great time savers. One was case summaries. So before we did the case summary project with AWS, our agents would be taking a call and then manually typing in notes about what happened on the call. They would take a number of minutes after each contact to have to kind of relay what happened so that if somebody came back to it, they would be able to understand what was going on. AWS automated case summaries for us, and that was amazing because our agents now can move on to taking more calls and more chats instead of having to summarize the cases. But we still have a great summary so that the next agent who looks at a case knows what's going on. In a similar vein, we also automated categorization of cases. Another thing our team was doing manually was to give a high-level category to what type of contact they were receiving, if it was funds not received or if it was an identity verification issue. This was time-consuming for our agents, right? Because they had to look through a whole list of things and think about, what could this possibly be? So we automated that with AWS, and that was a big time saver for us as well. We also have, a cool AI-powered solution to identity verification that I want to talk about quickly, which we call ID and verification. And that basically allows us to identity verify a customer through AI before they even reach an agent. So brings additional time savings to our agents. All right, so this is the big numbers slide, and you guys can see that all of these projects have had a profound impact on our contact reduction. So with this work with AWS, we saw a 51% decrease in voice contacts between 2024 and 2025. And with chat contacts, we saw about a 33% decrease. So if you think about that, that's massive for us operationally, right? It's big cost savings for sure. But it also allows our agents to be able to get to our customers more quickly and more thoroughly to really work on that market differentiating customer care that we've been talking about. So people often ask kind of how we staffed these projects internally, and this slide just gives you a sense of what our team looked like. We have 5 people internally that worked with AWS on these projects. And I think a key thing is that we really wanted to have the AWS expertise in-house, and so we made sure that we had a lot of training and that we built this internally so that our team could be making improvements more quickly on their own instead of having to hire an intermediary to work with AWS. And actually, one of these team members is named Mark Russell, who is a contact center architect at Zepz. And we really wanted to put in a quote from him because I think he really worked on all of these journeys and I think has a perfect summary of kind of the impact here. So I'll read it aloud. Amazon Connect provides a rapid platform to quickly adapt to customer and agent demands, enabling a fail-fast approach to deliver innovative journeys across all channels, whether using AI or not, to deliver the best outcomes for all. So that was really poignant insight from Mark. So on our end, we had many lessons learned throughout all of these projects, and we wanted to kind of try to lump them into 3 big buckets that hopefully will be more widely applicable for other projects. So the first bucket is vision, right? You need to be able to know where you're going before you figure out how to get there. So lay out what success looks like, what does good look like, and then work backwards from there, as opposed to trying to build a step-by-step roadmap that eventually gets somewhere, but you don't really know where it is. I think many of us probably can relate to that, right? Where we just start building and we don't actually know what our end goal is. So that was something that we really learned through trial and error in this process. The second one is velocity, right? We want to move with velocity and be able to make decisions quickly, especially if those decisions can be reversed, right? So we launch something, we want to see if it works with our users. Okay, great, we can pull it back if it doesn't work, but we're going to learn a lot by putting it out there in the world. And so let's do that as quickly as possible so we can learn as fast as possible. And that's something that we got better and better at over time, and we got less nervous about just doing something because we knew we could roll back any changes that were having an adverse effect on the customer base. And the final thing is automation, which I suppose is an obvious one, but really looking at what are our agents doing manually? Like, what does their day-to-day look like? What things are they handling that really could be automated? And maybe we can't automate it today. Maybe it's not the most important thing, but let's have a plan to try to automate it in the future. Let's put it on the roadmap, right? And that applies also to things that our customers are doing, right? If our customer is calling in about something, did they really have to call in about this thing? How could we enable more self-service around it? So those are the types of questions that we're always trying to ask ourselves day in and day out. All right, so what's next? As we sort of take these lessons in mind, it's going to be essential for us to keep them in our operating procedures as we scale and launch new product lines. It's been a while since either of our brands launched a new product line. We've mostly been bread and butter remittance companies, but we are launching a new product on the Sendwave brand called the Sendwave Wallet, which extends our mission of financial inclusion to allow recipients to hold the equivalent of US dollars in wallets, and they can decide when they cash out when there's a favorable FX rate, and that really empowers them with being able to hold a transfer in USD until it's a good time for them to get a good exchange rate and cash out. So I wanted to give you guys a preview of this product because it's really exciting, but it's, of course, also, as with all these things, going to bring more complexity to how we service our customers.
Zepz is transforming from a remittance player into a platform for financial empowerment. And as we do, our customers expand what's possible in their financial lives. The SendWave wallet breaks the legacy remittance model. The old divide, with senders in the global north and recipients in the global south, no longer applies. With the SendWave wallet, roles blur. Any customer can now be a sender, saver, and spender. Money moves easily in every direction our customers need. Built directly into the SendWave app, customers can send, hold, and spend money across 100+ countries in seconds. Funds are held safely in digital dollars pegged to the US dollar, designed to give customers greater stability, helping them support loved ones and build for the future. And the best part is, it's already available today. It all starts now. Powered by trusted stablecoin technology from Circle, Solana, and Portal, the SendWave wallet is secure and incredibly easy to use. No hidden fees, no crypto jargon, just seamless, real-world payments. Imagine sending money to a loved one and having them receive it in seconds, ready to use for whatever they need. That's the power of SendWave. With Zep's decade-long global payout network backing the SendWave wallet, customers can easily withdraw funds through trusted partners, use their balance for real-world payments and services, going beyond traditional remittances. It's more than just sending money. It's about financial empowerment, stability, and dignity for SendWave customers, because every cross-border payment is also an act of love, a way to support families, build opportunities, and shape a better future.
And so as we think about kind of our next phase in 2026, with the SendWave wallet coming into play, and of course our existing remittance business, what do we have planned? I want to go over just a few things before I hand it back to Russell. The first is to improve our automated customer surveys so that we're able to improve our AI content on the back end of that. The second is voice AI assistance to offer 24/7 help, right? Typically, we have to have specific office hours for our customer care staff because it's too complicated to offer 24/7 service with real humans. And the last is live voice-to-voice agent translation, which you can think of similarly to that chat feature that I was talking about. So this is the stuff that's on deck in 2026. And now I will hand it back to Russell.
Thanks, Maggie. Thanks very much, Maggie. I think one of the things that's really empowering of working with Zepz has been their commitment to use all the features and functions that sit within Amazon Connect. When I started working with Zepz, and before the slide that Maggie showed where it was email, we were just looking after voice traffic. Then Zepz started using chat and tasks and contact lens and evaluations. And a prime example was when their current workforce management platform was coming up to renewal. We did a demo for them on a Friday. They looked at the solution. They benefited from the free trial that we offer within Connect. And within a week, they'd switched off their old workforce management solution, and they were using Amazon Connect forecasting, capacity planning, and scheduling. And that just demonstrated the commitment of the team to always be innovating, always using the latest technology, and being able to deliver that for themselves. A lot of customers always ask me about what's the size of the team, and that's why we asked Maggie to present that. You don't have to have big teams. That's really the nirvana of where you want to get to, where you've got a mixture of either in-house teams and partners to be able to deliver the innovation quickly and efficiently for your customers. Right, let's move on now. we're going to talk about some of the innovation that many of you will have heard of through the last few days with the announcements from Amazon Connect, and I'm going to touch on a few of those now. But I think it's worthwhile first starting with the vision of where Amazon Connect has come from. And some of you may have been at the Amazon Connect networking event last night, and we were talking to Pasquale De Meo, the Vice President for Amazon Connect, about the journey that we started on and the challenge that he'd been given by Andy Jassy to grow this business. And as many of you have seen in his presentation and Matt Garmin's presentation yesterday, Amazon Connect now generates a recurring revenue of over $1 billion a year. So you can imagine from 2017, I should say, we started as a disruptor in this industry with very basic features and functionalities, today to being recognized as one of the leaders by all the key consultants. And when you think about this, if you look at this across each of the top lines, so the first one being the communications channel. When we started, we had a basic voice solution, and now we have an omni-channel agent experience that provides AI to allow you to have agentic AI experiences that I'm going to come on and talk to in a little bit. In the agent empowerment line, we started with a basic customer control panel. Now we have a multi-agent AI platform that gives assistance to agents during conversations. And then on the bottom side, we just had basic historic reporting. Now we have AI-driven agent evaluation, forecasting capacity planning, the ability to do these things in multiple languages. This is so much game-changing that allows you to stay up to date with what your customers are demanding. And in those times, we're now launching over 200 announcements each year. There were 29 that we made the other day when we did all the announcements, but you think 200, that's 4 a week. This is the pace of innovation that we're doing to allow you to keep up with your customers. Let's move on to this. Quite a complicated slide. You'll have seen these sorts of slides before with all the different things, but I'm going to explain this in a little bit more detail. So Amazon Connect creates intelligent, adaptive customer experience journeys in the agentic world. And we think of these experiences in 4 particular ways, and this is the top line here. So firstly, the understanding. The understanding is about comprehending what customers are asking us, understanding their intent across any particular channel. We've then got the reasoning. What's the next best action that we need to do based on the systems that we have internally, but also what the customer may be asking us? The next thing with the agentic world is the action. We've actually got to deliver this. So if the action is to make a refund, update a system, change an address, that's part of it. And then the final one being the memory. We need to capture this information to deliver those journeys so the next time I contact, we're taking that context into it as well. So those are the 4 main components that we see in the agentic world for CX. We then move down to the intelligence layer, which are the foundational levels that sit within Amazon Connect. So we're going to start on the bottom left-hand side here, which is the knowledge. So things like customer profiles. So customer profiles, the internal enterprise tools and systems of record that you have within your business to make these decisions. Amazon Connect now services all of our customers in any channel that you look for, voice, chat, email, WhatsApp, all of the things there. That's the next layer. The next layer up is the orchestration layer, which is the true agentic world, which is where we're looking at AI-generated workflows where we're pulling information from various sources to make intelligent decisions. And then the new announcements about the AI agents, we're moving on to the right-hand side now, which is the out-of-the-box agents that sit within Amazon Connect, the ability to create custom applications, custom agents within Amazon Connect for specific use cases that you have. And then probably the most exciting is the third-party agents, allowing organizations like yourselves to make the decision and give you ultimate flexibility to use what comes out the box, what you can create, and third party. So now gone are the days where you've got to just stick to one. This is allowing you the freedom and flexibility to choose whatever. Using analytics, we've talked about it already, conversational analytics, understanding what's happening in real-time sentiment analysis at each and every stage. Agent performance, the evaluations, and then forecasting, capacity planning, and scheduling. And then finally, the observability. None of this is of any use if we're not tracking this. As I said at the start, this true end-to-end journey. How do we make sure that we're tracking it for the end-to-end journey? This is also about testing and simulating these experiences, because in the agentic world, we can try these things out before we fully deploy them so we can see. And then the final thing being the analytics data lake, that ability to capture data and then look at those end-to-end journeys and see, are we delivering what we're saying for our customers? So this now gives people the ultimate choice. Amazon Connect is in the agentic world. Agentic AI sits within Amazon Connect now, and this gives you a choice across all the channels and all the ways that you'd want to deal with your customer to allow you to deliver those exceptional experiences. And as I said, Amazon Connect is now in the agentic world, and I'm going to focus on two that start here. Action with AI, which is how can we automate as much as possible and allowing humans to make decisions when contact gets to them. And then evaluating your workforce, elevate your workforce, which is where when you're speaking, when a contact does come to a human agent after it's been with an AI teammate, we give them as much information. So let's look at these. So we're going to talk about agents that act, natural voices, and AI evaluations. So Amazon Connect is now agentic, and what this means is it's the ability to be able to pass basic information from an AI agent into the workflows, things like what number they called us on, what web page they're on, information that's going to help us deliver a better experience. We could then integrate with knowledge bases and various tools and collaborate with those third-party agents that I said. And then finally, the things that are out-of-the-box AI agents, and if you go to the demo booth in the Venetian, you will see now how these are built in the workflow, where we can pull the out-of-the-box AI agents to do simple tasks that we've historically done with physical agents. Now this can be done in the agentic world. Natural voices. I mean, if you've been working with Amazon Connect, like I have for nearly 5 years now, the voice quality of interactions when they're automated has a real impact on our customers if they don't want to talk to robots. And now, since April, when we launched Nova Sonic, we've now grown this to allow our customers to have the access, if they're using unlimited AI, to things like 11 Labs and DeepGram, which allows you to have better languages, better understanding, handle interruptions better, all the things that you need when you're trying to create more natural experiences. And then the final one in this section is about AI agent evaluation and insight. So today, many of you will use our evaluation tools to measure and monitor existing interactions. And this should be no different than what we do with AI-generated evaluations. So you can do this. It measures them in the same way to make sure we're giving a consistent approach across everything. And then allow human supervisors to monitor that and see what's happening. So let's change gears now. Let's go back to elevate your workforce. We're looking at agentic AI assistance and case summarization. So with agentic AI assistance, this allows our agents to be helped almost in a way like step-by-step guides. If you've used Amazon Connect, step-by-step guides was originally launched for our customers, then for our own internal agents, and now this is being able to help agents. So when they're in tricky conversations, it can actually do the task for them. It can help them customize these actions and behaviors and guide them through these experiences. Again, moving away from this burnout, we're there to help our agents do each and everything in every interaction. And then finally, the case summarization. This is using Amazon Connect cases and taking information, summarizing this across multiple key stage insights to enable agents to update the cases, summarize them, and have the sort of streamlined approach that they're not spending ages writing up work after the call. They can move on to the next one, and we know that that's trusted. So let's go back to the start. I said to you, thinking about, you can't do today's job with yesterday's methods and be in business tomorrow. And what you heard from Zepz and what I've talked about with all the new releases hopefully gives you food for thought, gives you the encouragement to go and try these things, and encourage you to use Amazon Connect. So there's a big program of other talks still going on. As I said, also at the Venetian, the Village booth, A13 is where we've got some live demos, so you can see all of this stuff in action. We've got 3 other sessions. There are other sessions at the MGM here as well, so please join those. And now we've got a few minutes left. If anybody would like to ask myself or Maggie a question about anything we've discussed so far. Thank you.